Alright, Kevin, so here's the painting you sent me. Looks like a cross between Iron Man and a traditional medieval knight. It's pretty cool, actually. Um, and I just took a quick look at the drawing you based it on. You actually did a pretty good job of keeping the details, things like that, all together. So I'm just going to leave that up here, and for now, I'm just going to flatten everything. It'll make it just easier for me to go over this with you. Now, you asked specifically about the metal, how to make something look like it's made out of metal. It's actually not bad so far what you've done. But I will get to that, but I do want to address a few. But I do want to address a few things. First of all, the composition. Okay, this is very vertical for not really any reason. So we could probably alter that to just make it work a little bit better in your favor. Second, I'm not sure what this thing is, and I think that's probably some sort of lance-like thing if this is going to be something like a knight, so we can work with that too. Um, Finally, with hands, I want you to, when you've got complicated hand situations like this, the best thing to do is just to take out your smartphone and either do this in the mirror or get a friend to help you out with this. Just assume the pose, at least with the hands. Just take a picture of the hands with that pose. And I'm sure he's holding this thing with some sort of grip, so get inventive with this. In this case, I would use something as simple as like a coat hanger or something like that. Just hold on to a coat hanger, and that should simulate pretty closely to what you're looking for. And then obviously this hand, he's just, I guess he might be have his hand down Tarzan style or something like that. Um, but either way, I know hands are complicated, but the best way to do it is simply to take photographs of your own hands doing a similar pose and going from there. All right, so, and finally, it looks like he's got a cape. And capes can be very heroic, but that's only if you can actually see it. So that will factor into the cropping that we were talking about earlier. So first things first, I actually want to address the cropping. And don't worry, Kevin, we're going to get to the metal, I promise. But I just want to address these things first because um, they're really bugging me, and actually I think it'll help you out a lot if these are improved. Okay, so I'm just pulling it in because again we don't really need a super vertical composition. Um, and then what I want to do is actually maybe pull it out here. Okay, that's a start. And actually, let me pull it back down a little. I want to pull it back down just because it gives it a little more weight. Okay, and then we're just going to start another layer down here, and I just fill that in. Be careful, Kevin, with the gradients. Um, I know we talked a little bit about the linear gradient when we were in class, and that has its place. But you don't want to just do a linear gradient and that's that. You want to like build on that if you want to use a linear gradient because it's very digitally looking. So you can see I'm just trying to rebuild that gradient with a brush actually and the reason why I'm using a brush is just to give it a more painterly feel. Okay, so I'm actually going to go in here and just paint it in here too. I'm just trying to get rid of the digital feel for a little bit, just give it some more texture. Alright, and then first of all, let's just pull out your cape here. Gonna maybe make it some sort of white cape for now. I'm not quite sure yet. Starting over there. Gonna lasso that in actually. Make sure you get it. Make sure it goes off the page. That really helps with the drama and the movement. All right, this is not really that important, but I just want to kind of get it done and out of the way so I can get to the important stuff. All right, that'll help out a little. Go too strong there. All right. Now, next thing is this weapon here. I'd like to somehow make it so that we can see it more of it. So what I'm actually going to do here is just lasso that in. I'm just going to make a copy of it, Command J to copy it. So now I've got it on a separate layer now. And then I'm going to transform it so that maybe he's got it turned in, kind of like, this one's actually pretty challenging. You know what I'm going to do? Now, obviously, Kevin, you're going to have to want to adjust this if I get it wrong, because I'm not quite sure what this weapon is. I'm just going to do my best to figure it, to roughly guess what you were going for with this weapon. So I'm actually opening up the back so that I can just have the overhead and to the right here. I mean the left, excuse me, just to just have some room to play with here. Excuse me. Alright, so now we've got a little bit more of a layer. I'm going to pull this up here. And then, actually let's get rid of that layer. So what I'm going to do instead is, I'm assuming this is some sort of lance, so similar to what knights use. So what I'm going to do is actually have him holding it straight up like this. Let's go ahead and start filling that in. Excuse me, I have luminosity again. Quick keys are going silly again. Alright, I'm going to try to roughly simulate what you have here. And actually, we can do this. We selected this part down here, Command J again to just duplicate that layer. And then we'll actually use this at the back end to your lance. Something like that. Fill that in. Alright, and then okay, that's better. Now we fill that in. Alright, and then let's try to I'm going to get into the hand in a few minutes, but I just remembered looking at some of this armor. Couple things I want to address real quick. Now I don't want to give you a whole anatomy class right away, but I do want to mention real fast. There's one thing you have to understand about the body. And I understand this is armor, but this is armor that simulates a human body in terms of its style. And so what you want to remember, Kevin, is that usually with the human body, what really helps with the rhythm of the human body is when you have straight against curved. Okay. You don't really want curve against. What you don't want is curve against curve. Okay, you want straight against curve. Or if you have to have curves, you want to make it so that the curves don't line up. So down here with the forearm, right now you've got kind of this football shape thing going. And what you want to do is just curve here, and then this other curve is down here. See the weight of the weight of the curve comes out here and then down here. So again, that's rhythm. So what that means is I would actually, let's flatten that bicep. Not that he's not jacked, he is. He still is, don't worry. So looks all nice and heroic as you'd like. And then let's add a little bit of bulk here on this side actually while we're at it. But generally speaking, this rhythm thing is, you know, the whole human body, male, female, everything. It really just helps add a lot of nice life and feeling to the body. So it's just, sorry if I'm ruining your detail here. All right, and then let's just pull that gold out a little. I'm guessing this is the elbow. This is kind of low. The elbow would actually be up here, right across from. This is where the bicep connects to the forearm. All right, so that's a rough estimate of the elbow. It's too strong actually. I'm actually going to subdue that elbow piece a little because it's kind of far back. And all right, so, and the same thing with this. This forearm's a little thick. It's a little Popeye-ish. So let's just pull that in a little. There you go. All right, now the hands. Again, this is something I'm going to simulate this real fast, but this is something you definitely want to pose. One thing you want to make sure with the fingers is that what a lot of people do when they're first starting out drawing hands is they basically draw the hands kind of like this graphic thing, you know, and you want to avoid that as much as possible. The hands actually have a lot of intricacies and movements and rhythms. For example, the middle finger here is kind of the center point, and then this is very rough and fast, but hopefully this will help you anyway. And so basically all the other fingers kind of converge on it. So a lot of things. Hands is just one of those things. You're gonna have to just bite the bullet and it's a Fight Club thing. You're gonna have to just bite the bullet and draw as much as you can. So in this case, I'm actually having his index finger kind of loosely gripping it. You can actually see I've got you can see the idea I'm trying to keep in mind with the hands is that, again, I don't want the fingers to just be parallel like that. So you can see that this is the pointer finger, middle finger, ring finger, pinky. You can see they're kind of this radiating thing here. All right, so just that's what I'm looking for with hands. So just let that thumb kind of just vanish into it. All right, and then let's just fill that in a little, and then we're good to go. Actually, I'm going to darken all of it, and I'll re-highlight it. All right, and then let's just go ahead and fill that in. Finish that up. Okay. Now, now in terms of your original question, in terms of the metal, you've actually got a pretty decent start. you are right in that basically the thing with metal is that it's highly reflective. So you've got, these sharp, sudden um, catches of light, as opposed to something that's matte like this, where there's a gradient. So this is definitely a good start. You've got the right idea here, because presumably this is a panel of metal that kind of comes out and then goes back in. It's a beveled edge, so it catches this light. That's actually pretty cool. That's a good job there. So let's see what we're gonna do. Sure, okay, that's a new layer. All right, so a couple things. Let's go ahead and pull some of this metal, this light, this highlight out a little into the metal itself. Something like that. Okay. Good idea. Good decision making here. You got one plane here, dark plane here, light plane here. That's actually a really in the right direction. And then let's see. Again, you got that here. And actually, with metal, what we can do here in this case, because you got highlight, shadow, you can actually put a reflected light here. And then just, again, it's nice and strong there. Still lighter than this side though, so I'm gonna tone that back down. So these spotlights, these strong, hot lights, reflective spotlights, you don't have to just kind of leave it to the edge. You can just pull it in like this. All right. But the idea is, again, you did right here too, actually, because you got like this nice strong light here, shadow, and then you got a reflected light, which is, even before I painted it, this was darker than this, so that's good. One other thing to keep in mind, this is going to get a little complicated, and you don't have to do this, but it is good to know, is that, actually you should do it if you really want to get advanced, but I'm just not trying to not hammer you with too much at the same time. So basically, because it's reflective, it will also reflect some of the color. So I'm actually going to put some of the, got my opacity a little lower here, so you can see. I'm actually going to let some of the red come through here from here, this jaw, and then like we're going to pull some of it into here as well. All right, and actually, because the red and yellow are so closely to each other in the color wheel, you're okay with just putting red right on top. Because if they were on opposite ends of the color wheel, if this was red and this armor was green, then you basically would have to desaturate a lot. It would actually be pretty complicated. So let's see. Just take a quick look here. All right. Now, you've got these, like I said before, like since it's beveled upward here, you've got this nice light edge here, but you also, presumably it's beveled the other way too. So let's actually put some darks into here. Like so. I think you have some of it there. Darker. Oops. I'm going to put some of the strong highlight here too. One thing I want to mention though, by the way, is that you could probably, this is very strong actually. You can probably tone it down. It's still like obviously visible, but to be that visible. So, and you continue it here because you got this white highlight here. So Kevin, it really looks like you've got some of the basic principles down. You just have to make sure it's applied evenly throughout the piece. This edge one you don't need because you already got this one. Because when you had like a white edge, exact same value here and here, it looked very graphic-y. Okay. I'm going to expand his waist. It's like even heroic, especially, frankly, even with males, especially with males, actually. you kind of you do want to give him a little bit of bulk, really. It won't make him look any less heroic, trust me. Let me pull this out a little. Because it looked like corset tight, and I know you don't want your hero to look uncomfortable. Just gonna tone that down a little. You can see actually I'm letting it kind of blend into the background because it's just not that important. Strong silhouette. Let's really just set that silhouette apart from the cape. This part of the cape right behind him is rather unimportant, and you've got all this like detail here, so I'm just trying to just calm it down a little just so we can look at him a lot more. So there you go, and I do want you to work on that hand. And now in terms of the background, I really want some sort of color, and you know, like he's already very saturated, so I wouldn't want a background that's just as saturated. But I kind of really want something, just because it's just very out of this. I don't know. I just don't know what the setting is right now, so I'm kind of trying to figure out a setting. And now, red and yellow, like a green background would be rather garish because he's already red and yellow. So I don't think green's a good idea in this case. I want something just subdued and cool. And I don't know. I'm just kind of making this up as I go along, to be honest with you, Kevin. Let's just start with something. Actually, I might end up using a little bit of green just because. So what we can do is just, oops. Change brushes here, give myself something a little more textured. Alright, and then actually we'll keep this brush for a little bit. Try to put him some sort of ground here. Let's assume it's some sort of medieval-esque wasteland. So I was gonna do like a tower like this. I was gonna do a tower kind of like that, but if I do that, then it's gonna be this and this. So I'm not gonna do that. So let's. Fill that in. And let's get to the ground here. I'm actually gonna just start to kind of cover up the bottom a little, just because, again, it'll help him like just blend in a little. Look, not blend in, just make him look like he belongs in this world. I would give him something besides black for his feet. Let's just, oh, I don't know, let's just go with red for now. At least just not, I mean, you can put a little bit of black, but I just feel like it's kind of jarring just to have it just suddenly go black like that, especially with all this love and detail you put into everything else. Not much of a robot designer, so or future mech armor designer, so forgive the really bad armor design. Alright, so that's just something. Let's quiet it down a little, actually. Alright, you know, I would also just put, just stuff. I mean, are there other, has he defeated others of his kind or something like that? Let's just try this. Just gonna take a copy of his helmet here and just kind of put it off like that. I'm just using this as a quick. And obviously, when you do this, you want to like just really elaborate on this thing. I'm just doing this really quickly, so this video isn't forever. Trying to make it a little more 3/4 view. So I'm just gonna grab it in. Try to turn it in a little. Obviously, this is still kind of strong, so I'm just going to change the luminosity again. Sorry, I fumble on my quick keys sometimes. And let's see. Let's say this is like an old comrade in arms or something like that. So and we can use levels to darken him as well. And then, I don't know, maybe it's sort of burnt out grass or something. I just need something in here, just to give it a little more context. So then we just rust it up a little too. Stain it, dirty it, rust it up. And then, yeah, and then let's, I don't know, put some, and let's try to get like just a little bit of foreground. I don't mean much, just a little bit. Let's put a little bit of color into the foreground too. So I'm just trying to build like this rock here, this rock formation here. I'll put a few more of them here and there. Etc., etc. Let's put a little bit more burnt out grass or something. All right, it just really helps to contextualize it some, give especially if you want to get into like concept art of video games. You really want to just know, like, just be able to not just to design a cool character, but design the world around him. What world is he in? Things like that. All right, so hopefully this is helpful to you. I know I just touched on Metal Road briefly, but you've got the basic ideas down, but you just want to add some more variety to it, and you should be good. All right, Kevin. So let me know again if you need anything else. I think. Oh, actually, one more thing. Thinking about it now, because this kind of greenish blue sky that I started here, um, and he's kind of still very saturated. So what I'm gonna do is actually just dump this green blue color on. I'm on another layer, so I'm just gonna just dump it 100% actually, and then just change it. Let's try seeing. If I change a soft light, that puts a little bit of that blue green color into the rest of the piece, which I think will help at least make it looks like it belongs a little bit more into this world. So sorry, I'm just going nuts here. I know. And you just want it, and all you want was a quick, how do I do metal? I'm doing this overlay again just to try to get this guy to inhabit the color world that I made for him. And obviously this is not what you had in mind, then adjust accordingly. All right, but the point is, don't just it's good to make a character, but then also think about what kind of world he lives in, how to blend him into that world. How does he fit into it? You really want to be able to just live and breathe this world. You don't want to just have a character in and that's that. You want to get people to know what this world is about, things like that. So and that's why people love Tolkien and Star Wars, because it's just such a world that almost feels alive, because just so many things have been revealed to fans, things like that. All right, so well, I could probably go on doing this forever, so I probably should just stop here so you can get on with your life, things like that. But it's good to hear from you again, and hopefully this helps. I'll be sending this file to you as well. All right, take care, Kevin. Thanks.